Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Bitcoin is in a little bit of an interesting pattern that just kind of caught my eye yesterday, and I want to talk about that as well as always, I'm going to start zoomed out on the weekly chart here, kind of go over how I think the health of the market is right now and that sort of thing, and then we'll work our way into the shorter degen timeframes, the position I'm in, other positions I'm looking for on some scalping timeframes, and that sort of thing. So to start out, you guys, we're going to hop over to the weekly chart here. Just getting an overall view here. What I really like to see, you guys, is that, there's no doubt about it. We are still trading at resistance. We're still trading at this all-time high resistance here. I'll just change this red just so it's easier to point out that way. So we are, in fact, just struggling here a little bit. But the thing is, we're not seeing a harsh rejection yet. And we've just been consolidating against this resistance now this is basically week 5 at this point. So, I think that says a lot about the strength of the bulls in this scenario that, we're just chipping away at resistance, in my opinion. We could absolutely end up taking a dump to the downside, but I think it would be short-lived. Bitcoin has done a great job on this whole rally, basically ever since we broke this downtrend, right? We had low, lower low, lower low. So at that point, this would be the lowest high of the trend. Basically, after we broke that, it was just staircasing higher, right? I mean, we just had just setting higher highs. That brings up our higher low, higher highs, higher low, higher highs, higher highs, higher low. Sorry, I'm confusing myself here. Higher high, higher low. So at this point, this is kind of the level that I'm interested in right now. I'm just going to erase a couple things to clean this up a little bit. But basically, this range here is what I think is important support for Bitcoin. Basically, anywhere from 54,000 down to 49,000 even. I would say probably closer to 50,000, but just giving a little wiggle room to the tops of these wicks here. But as long as we keep this structure, I see no reason to be alarmed. And I mean, that would feel like a crazy pullback. I mean, from where we topped out, that would be about a 30% correction. The thing is, 30% corrections in a bull market are totally normal, you guys. So that would be totally normal if we did test back to that higher low. At this point, I do not consider this a higher low because we have not confirmed another higher high above this. As soon as the price gets above this level, that's when I'm considering this our new higher low, something like that as support. But as it stands right now, I am not considering that a higher low. So where my green box is more the healthy level of support that I would want to see if we do even end up pulling back. Obviously at these levels, I mean, if we smash through all-time highs after basically just banging our head against it for 5 full weeks, I mean, there's a chance that the floodgates absolutely open and there's a bit of a short squeeze and we go absolutely nuts after that, kind of in price discovery, right? At that point, we don't really have any price history to go off of to find resistance levels. We could look at Fibonacci extensions and that sort of thing. One potential trend line I mapped out, and I don't want to pull a Gareth here, but just looking at something would be, I'm really reaching for any sort of structure. Maybe we see some resistance if we get up towards these levels, closer to that 90,000. But again, I think it's going to be short-lived, maybe some sort of a pullback, and after we break that, after getting a third touch point, this is a scenario I would absolutely love to see. See a third touch point on a weekly trend line like that, getting that third touch point to make sure that it is confirmed as a trend line. At this point, just these two connecting points, I'm not considering this valid, but if we get that third touch point, I absolutely will consider this a valid trend line. And if we end up breaking it after that, in my opinion, it's going to be parabolic. I think it will just absolutely explode if that happens. A lot of what ifs between now and then. This is a weekly chart. Like I said, we could absolutely pull back to other levels. No reason to get super concerned as far as the health of the market, in my opinion, when looking at the longer time frames like this. Hopping over to the 4-hour chart. Yesterday, this kind of caught my eye. I'm looking at a little bit of a pennant formation. It is still premature to call it this because, again, I really like 3 exact touch points, and I know these are close, but even this, I would only consider it 1 touch point. So I'm kind of looking at 1 touch point, 2 touch points, and same on the bottom side. So before I would consider this a valid pattern, I would actually want a 3rd touch point rejection and then a break above and retest kind of a thing. Just really confirming this trend line. Until that happens, again, just something to look forward to, something to look for in the future, the near future. I guess that would be a midterm trend kind of a thing. But that's something I'm watching for on the 4-hour. And just to bring up some indicators here, I just want to clean this up a little bit. I'll leave the pennant pattern on there for now, but I want to bring up the trend dynamic as well as the trend collection just to see if we can notice anything with the indicators. One thing that I notice right away is we kind of lost the uptrend of these sell signals. It's, you know, I always say that I love to notice which way signals are trending just to help draw my eye to it. We had this sell signal, higher sell signal, higher sell, and now you can see we actually basically formed a perfect double top with those sell signals. I know not super professional analysis, but just how I like to look at these indicators when helping me notice a trend. Seeing these patterns in the indicators themselves, I like to, you know, I do give them some weight. At least, you know, looking for confluence and that sort of thing. These are at the exact same height, those 2 blue sell signals, and as well these trend reversals, which or reversal warnings, these orange W's up here. Basically a double top there. And you guys know I've been using a strategy similar to this, looking for which way the W's are trending and that sort of thing in this group now for what, 1.5 years, 2 years now at this point. It's something that I take serious, and I'm not saying to just blindly set trades on that alone, but it is definitely something worth taking into consideration when looking for confluences for which way should you be trending or trading the market, for example, so when you're starting to look for entries. And seeing that sort of thing, even though I am quite bullish on the market, so I am less likely to take those bearish positions at this point. However, when I see something like this, that's when, if I was in a swing long, and you guys know I'm more trading the shorter time frames, not a 4-hour like this, but if I was more of a swing trader and I was entering down at these levels, as soon as I see the, you know, a potential reversal like this where all of a sudden these sell signals are forming a double top, the indicators are showing signs of weakness, that's where maybe I'm not interested in shorting the market, but absolutely interested in taking profits if I'm in a position going the other way at that point. If I have a strong bearish bias, maybe that's just the little bit of a kick I need to confirm my bias at this point. Like I said, I'm just so overly bullish on the mid to long term right now that I'm just having a hard time taking the bearish signals all too serious at this point. I'll take them serious in the sense of being careful, like I said, taking profits on positions and that sort of thing. I'm taking the odd little scalp short, but I'm really not hanging on to them too long right now. I'm just personally too bullish to, I think I'll just trade to the bullish side a lot better just because I think more clearly if I am already favoring that side of things. So just hopping over to the shorter time frames, like I said, I ended up taking a bit of a long position earlier, and this is just a classic Stuber setup, you guys. Actually, sorry, I got to go back here. There was something else in the indicators I wanted to point out as a little bit of a warning for the bears out there. Is this indicator down here, I forgot to take a look at it there, is we do technically have this little red money flow cloud that has opened up. So again, that's just showing a little bit of weakness, as well as this trending indicator with the sell signals and stuff. It's just something to be a little bit cautious of on the 4-hour. But yeah, going to shorter time frames, I mean, I'll trade the market either direction. Like I said, I'm in a little bit of a long at this point. My reasoning for this, like I said, classic Stuber reversal setup here. Basically, we had this trend, we had this low, lower low. This is my lower high. We got that break. I pull a Fibonacci, pinpoint accurate on the 786, and starting to take profits along the way. So I do have 2/3 of that position still running at this point. Something that I had mentioned to the people in my mentorship is basically I had 2 scenarios I was looking at at the time. Basically, I think we were trading, I can't remember, somewhere, I think we were trading around this area. And I basically said, I'm looking at two potential scenarios here, and I mapped out both of these fibs. One is a bullish case scenario where, hey, this might be indicating a reversal here. We're going to go back to the upside. Or B, if we would have just gone straight up and missed this Stuber fib pullback, I was more so looking for a rejection up here. And my reasoning for that is just because we actually ended up losing the uptrend. I was in a nice long earlier because this market structure was just absolutely phenomenal, you guys. Sorry, I'm going to erase a couple things here. I'll leave my position up here. But I just want to go back to how important market structure is, and how even if you didn't want to FOMO into a position late, if you can recognize a market trending, how you can have those nice tight invalidation levels. And basically, just looking at basic market structure, let's just say even starting from here, we have this high, we end up breaking it. That raises our higher low to this level. Does that ever get broken? No. Where do we end up breaking this? This was just a wick, so let's call it right here. We end up breaking that, bringing up the higher low to the lowest point between our high and our higher high. So we're now bringing up our higher low to this level. Then we set another higher high. We now have a higher low, another higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. You get the point. Higher high, higher low. And basically that trend just continued until basically we ended up losing. This would basically be our last high, higher high. Here's our confirmed higher low. We end up losing this level. So I'm still open to the idea of that bearish reversal that I was just talking about. Here, let me clean this up. I'm getting a little carried away here. Here, let me just pull that back just so that I have this up here. I think it was 515 is my entry. Oh, pretty much perfect there. Okay, just to get things back to how they were here. Looking for a potential bearish rejection, because that was the play I was actually more interested in at the time, but the bullish reversal happened first, I suppose. So I was basically looking at this because, we ended up getting a loss finally after all this trending today. We finally lost this higher low structure here. And that's where I'm kind of thinking, I'm absolutely open to the idea of shorting up here. None of this is financial advice. Do your own research, form your own opinions, obviously. But when I'm looking for a typical Stuber fib setup, that's basically what I'm looking for. We had the loss of trend here. So we ended up, that's our higher low. We end up setting a lower low. Now I'm basically looking for, I'm not interested in FOMOing into a short here or, guessing a top at any of these levels. That's not really how I trade. I like to see that structure break followed by the pullback. So that pullback would actually be way up here. And even if I am planning to take the second third of my position. I think it was like 68,777. I think, yeah, somewhere in here. So just a little bit shy of the 786 is where I'm planning to take profits on the second third of my position. And I want to leave a third run just in case it does just end up turning into a home run trade. However, I am also very open to the idea of opening up some sort of a hedge in these levels. I'm thinking that even if I have my long position running, I do want to hedge at these levels just because, like I said, there is that structure break. So I wouldn't mind tossing a little bit of a short at these levels as well. And then, if we blast right through all my fibs, then I'll get stopped out on that position and the long will take the reins again. So we'll just have to see what happens here. That's kind of what I'm aiming for at this point on the shorter time frames. I should ask, how are all of you guys here with me live? How are you guys feeling about the market? Anybody in any interesting leverage positions at this time? Feeling excessively bullish, excessively bearish? You don't know what the hell to think? How's everyone feeling out there? Just bring up the 1 hour here, see if we see anything, if we zoom in a little bit. The 1 hour we do have a very recent buy signal on the 1 hour on the indicators. My little bit of a warning with that is that is a lower buy signal, right? Not to say it can't start a new trend, just something to pay attention to and just to be a little bit cautious of is that it is in fact lower. So those buy signals are in a downtrend. We still don't have a lower sell signal to go with that. This one is technically slightly higher than that one. W's trending to the downside on both sides, the top and the bottom. So there's a lot of things pointing at potential downside. But even the 1 hour, I mean, you guys know I love the 5 minute, the 1 minute. That's more so what I'm trading. But these are definitely some warning signs on the hourly chart. Kind of mixed signals, honestly, at this point. But yeah, for the most part, as far as the midterm goes and the long term especially, I am still very bullish on Bitcoin, to be honest. I think if we do see some sort of what's going to feel like a crazy correction, I don't think it's going to last long at all, personally. Currently in a near long. Nice. Near has been just doing good consistently. I'll actually take a look at that in a little bit because I've been holding near for quite a while too. I can't remember where I bought. I want to say it was under $3. What's it at now? Like around 7? Near always seems to be one of those fast recovering coins as soon as there's a dip. Zeus, nice. Caught a nice short there. Decent. Don't know what to think. That's totally fair. There's a little bit of mixed signals out there. Looking at Rune. Closed all positions and exhausted. Very good day with gains. Yeah, sometimes, you know, when you start getting tired and you're going to end up taking a position and falling asleep before setting a stop loss or something, I mean, sometimes it's okay to just take a breather. Especially if you're up on the day. That's a good place to leave it. Yeah, first of all, I wanted to check Rocky. Because you guys know this is one of the meme coins that I've been holding for a while, and I was buying recently basically at these levels, right around that 0.002 level. On the 4 hour, looking at the indicators, something I had mentioned was that, you know, this is one of those cases where we did get higher higher sell signals and higher buy signals on the 4 hour chart as well. These W's trending to the upside here. I just think that there's potential, even though we are seeing some weakness here. We are still technically holding support. So support is support until it's broken. I think there's only like a $2 million market cap on this or something like that. And trade volume's really low and stuff like that too. But that is one of my spot bags. So just wanted to take a look at that chart there. Near. I will absolutely take a look at Near. Gonna remove drawings here. Oh, look at that. We have that same double top sell signal. W's technically trending to the downside. Oh man, this sell signal though here on the trend collection is having a hard time holding. Even the fact that the this trailing stop loss kind of line has already flipped to the underside here. We might end up just coming down a little bit and then finding support at these levels. I mean, there is beautiful support down here, right? This whole trend. Have to see how that ends up breaking out. Actually, we might have some sort of a pennant forming, something like that. Could be a infamous descending triangle if any of you guys have been around for a couple market cycles. That could be an aggressive sell-off if it broke to the downside. I personally, again, I'm just having a hard time being too bearish on anything right now. You know what? Maybe that's emotional. Maybe that's wrong. But just looking at previous market cycles on those weekly charts, I really think that most of this year is going to be upside trending. So yeah, 4 hour, I mean, yeah, still nice support. The core trend is looking like it's basically flipping from bearish to neutral here, trying to turn into support. So that's nice to see. Yeah, $6.69. Where did I buy this? I think it was around 280. I think it was somewhere down in these areas. Yeah, Near has been a great performer this market cycle so far. I actually did a giveaway on Near at New Year's. Can't remember how many I gave away, like, I don't know, 30 or 40 or something like that. What else? I saw someone looking at Rune. Kind of the same thing, hey? Like, I'm seeing a lot of similarities in a lot of coins right now. Basically, a lot of things forming these triangles and pennants and things. Just at a quick glance, that seems to be a typical consolidation at this point. Yeah, what can we find as far as... I wish this had closed a little more confidently above this structure back here. I would have said that, you know, this might be a great opportunity to start looking for entries on some sort of a super fib pullback. I mean, a 786 might still find support. You know, like I said earlier, support is support until it's broken, and we do still technically have this support. But yeah, you know, if you've been around for a couple market cycles, you know what I'm talking about with the descending triangle, the one that dropped Bitcoin. Basically, the floor was around 6K and it dropped very quickly to 3K after it broke. I'm sure a lot of us have PTSD from that. Solana, I would actually like to look at Solana as well, because that will affect the memers, which obviously we're going to take a look at soon. So if you have any meme coins, you guys, any Solana memers, feel free to drop them. What kind of time frame you're looking at? I usually look at them on like either a 5-minute or an hourly. So I will check out Solana in a minute. Let me just catch up on a few messages here. I have high hopes for Solana. You know, just after using it more, you know, it seems fast and cheap to use. The thing is now, at least with Ethereum, there's like base network and stuff like that. There's the L2s that make it reasonable, so you can actually use Ethereum now. The fees were just so insanely difficult to use sometimes, especially when you're buying these random coins with super low market caps and stuff, where the orders are failing and you're still spending hundreds or thousands of dollars on gas fees. Absolutely ridiculous. So it's nice that there's ways around that now. All right. Yeah, I'll check Solana, and then I will check Ultra as well. I would be interested in watching that. Solana, something worth mentioning, which I already see that my take profits would have been hit, and I am by no means in a position on Solana, but you can see that that was the most recent highest low of the uptrend, because we had this high here and then we had higher high here. We ended up breaking that structure. So there's definitely a chance of a reversal at that point. And that's where I look for those fib pullbacks, right? So at that point, I'm starting to chase the price with the fibs, see if we end up hitting it. Look at that right in my Stuber fib pocket. Absolutely pinpoint accurate there. And then coming down. But TP1 would have been hit. We just missed TP2 by a little bit. So maybe that move has already played out. Absolutely a possibility. Let's see if we can find a bullish one. You know, even that might have been reversed. Like, technically, if we would have dropped this level, so, you know, even that may have been the reversal for the bullish side. So we still, even, that's the beautiful thing about when you're playing ranges, and especially using Fibonacci's to help you play ranges, is even if that bearish structure already did flip, you can see that the setup of just playing the range was part of your position. It still plays out. So even if this does reverse to the upside, because like I said, I'm seeing potential for another one here, is that we could obviously just pull this fib here and look at that same thing, right? We get that structure break, comes back 786, boom, TP1, TP2, etc. So at this point, that's the bottom of this range that I'm considering anyways. So I'd be looking at something like that. So yeah, you know, we are trading in a range, sorry. Markets generally range a lot more than they trend, and that's where using Fibonacci's and you know, strategies with fibs and just trading the range can be so beneficial, because again, the markets are rarely trending. I do think it's going to trend aggressively to the upside this year. I've been pretty clear about that. However, just in general, your day-to-day, generally price is chopping around sideways in some sort of a range. And I find using Fibonacci's like this and looking for those structure breaks just really helps you be able to play the range until it breaks. And that's why I always say in these streams that I'm usually very quick to close, you know, a quarter to half of a position. And after that, I do leave some run, because I also want, you know, I don't want to feel regret if all of a sudden I was correct and it ends up breaking out in my favor and I closed up my whole position, you know, maybe, you know, after only 10% of the move that I could have caught or something like that, you know. So that's where I'm saying, you know, a lot of people struggle with trading shorter time frames. I personally think that is because people have a hard time trading what they're actually trading. Myself, if I'm trading on a 5-minute chart or a 1-minute chart, you know, there's a good chance I'm starting to downsize my position within 10 candles of whatever time frame I'm playing. So a lot of people want to enter a position on a 1-minute chart and they're looking for an hourly or a 4-hourly move, and that's just not how you have a good win ratio, a good win percentage. You know, if you're looking for home run trades, it's just going to get you wrecked. And that's where I always encourage, you know, play the range until it breaks. Big fan of that. But again, I like to keep some on the table, because if it does break, then I want that position there. So that's me personally. And yeah, so I guess I got on a little rant there about seeing the Solana chart right now. But yeah, we have a beautiful range at this point. So we're going to have to see what happens as long as we hold support. Like I said, support is support until it's broken. Have a beautiful uptrend. So, but again, watch those fibs from the other side. What were the indicators saying? They had that double. Well, here on the 4-hour chart on Solana, you can see that even though we have this sell signal, this is one of those times where the way the indicator's trending, right? It's just helping me point out the trend that even though there's a sell signal here, it is technically to the upside. Our W's trending to the upside. These W's trending to the upside. Buy signals still trending to the upside. So, you know, there's absolutely still reason to believe that, like I said, that this support may in fact be a thing. We're just going to trend sideways. We're in this big range. Typically speaking, a range is just consolidation before continuation, right? So yes, absolutely, it could reverse, but play the trend until it, you know, the trend is your friend until it isn't. We all know that, right? Ultra, I do want to take a look at Ultra. This is one I was actually considering buying a little bit of today. It might go down a little more yet. What can I spot here? This is on the 4-hour chart. I'm actually going to start with a naked chart. No indicators, nothing. What do we have going on? You know, what I don't like to see is I don't like to see that these support levels are now holding the price down. You know, we're actually below those support levels and it looks like it could be a bear flag. I don't like the looks of that. What do we got here? Line, some sort of support like that. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look great. What I would like to see, actually, let's see if we can find any. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I'm bullish on the market overall, so I don't see why this would be any different. But you know, I'm interested to watch some sort of a downtrend. I'd like to see us retest that a third time and then break it. That's ideally what I would want to see. Obviously, the market does not give a shit what I think. Another thing I would look at was I'd actually be interested in buying that. You know, taking a quick look at that, there is the chance that we have this downward sloping support here. And I also treat spot buying a lot different than I treat leverage trading. Spot buying, I'm a lot less picky. I'm looking at more of a long hold anyways. So I would consider that downward sloping trend line as support and buying it. Especially, what I might even do, I might set an alert on that and just wait if we get some sort of a failed break there. In that case, just reclaiming that level I think would be very bullish. And then I think we would see this thing carry on with some momentum from there. Let's take a look some other random fibs. You know, if we are going to take that deeper correction, because we got to be ready for anything, right? Let's just pull a Fibonacci of this entire trend here. You know what? That goes very well with the theory of that downward sloping support line. I'm not going to lie. You know, the more we analyze this is why we take a step back and we kind of zoom our way in, right? So just taking that step back and looking at where actually are we on the trend, we're very close to that 786. And you guys know I love that level when I'm looking for entries on things. So to see how well that downward sloping support line would line up with this level, I mean, there's a couple things there. There's a little bit of confluence there. So yeah, you know what? Maybe that isn't in such bad shape yet. I also like the idea of it, just the fact that, you know, I obviously do streaming and I also play video games, and I like that their platform is kind of around those things as well as NFTs, all that sort of thing. I just really like the whole experience. I have checked out their app and stuff like that, or their desktop app, and anything I've checked out, it seemed to work pretty well, and I don't know, just seems like the kind of thing I'm into. Whether or not I personally think that the video games, when it comes to crypto games, have a long way to go, but I like the idea of it, and I can see the potential behind it. So yeah, I will probably scoop a little bit more ultra up in the next few days, I'm guessing. Rune is chilling at support, but if Biddy breaks, these will likely lose support, but otherwise could start trending. That's exactly it, right? Generally speaking, the altcoins are going to follow Bitcoin. So, and like I said, you know, a lot of them do look like those descending triangles. Support is support until it's broken, but we have to acknowledge that that is often a bearish pattern, not until it breaks. We don't want to prematurely assume it's bearish, because we could just break to the upside of the resistance instead, and then, you know, just treating it like a normal pennant, basically. But yeah, if, you know, there's a lot of things at that potentially bearish support level, and if Bitcoin breaks down, I don't see why a lot of things wouldn't start bleeding out quite aggressively. But I think it will be short-lived, like I was talking about earlier. I think overall the market's in a pretty good place. Let me look at Xava. I will check that out. Does it matter what chart I check it out? Bybit? Yeah, this previous support level here. Yeah, you can see there's definitely strong support for this guy. Is that kind of the level you're looking at? $12-hour? Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely strong support there. What's the market cap on this thing? What do we have here? It's messy. Technically, we do have 12-hour candles closing above that previous high. So, I mean, this could be a classic case of pulling back to a Stuber fib. Look from the bottom up to the top. We have actually Well, you can see that there was an initial reaction at the 786. We just kind of consolidated against it. Now we're dipping in. Wouldn't be too surprised to see the 886 at this point. Yeah, like you said, though, there's a strong level of support here, so things always look scary at support, right? I mean, everyone loves to get bearish at support and bullish at resistance. But yeah, these are kind of where we're getting to my buy levels, just because obviously we have this structure break, potential continuation. So I'm looking for that pullback, a nice slow grind down towards these support levels. It's kind of what I'm looking for. What's the... Yeah, and more obvious closes above on the 4 hour, obviously. Yeah, we're kind of pulling into that whole support zone. Really, anywhere from a 786 to a full retrace. That's kind of my buy zone when I'm looking at things. Not saying it's going to work out every time, like you're going to call the bottom that way. But obviously, it's better to wait for these retraces than it is to FOMO in as soon as you break those levels, because so often after you break structure, you end up coming back almost a full retrace of the move. And so that's just where, yeah, like I said, it's not guaranteed that we're just going to test these levels and blast off to new all-time highs, but I'd rather be buying at these levels than up here. And I'm sure a lot of people were buying at this level up here. Big liquidity grab. Lever, I will check out Lever. That's BitGet, you said? Yes. You know, just looking at resistance, this wick mostly filled, and you can see again just a retest of a Stuber fib here. What else can I say about this? What do we got going on? Just that we're coming to the downside here. I would start to... It's almost looking like there's a bit of a pennant here. I'm just going to try and map out some sort of a random naked price chart here. You know, obviously resistance like this. And again, going to my rule, I would like to see a third touch point before a breakout if I was looking for a breakout play kind of a thing. Let's look for potential support. You know, maybe something like that, some sort of a pennant like that. There could also be this one, but again, I would want to see a third touch point before considering that valid as well. Let's see what the indicators are saying. Indicators are looking good. That's looking juicy. I love the fact that we have all these W's trending to the upside. As well, we have this higher buy signal. I do like that. The sell signals were a bit of a misfire with that lower sell signal, but I do like that the buy signals and the W's are trending to the upside, just showing us a little bit of strength from the indicators like this. The core trend as well has flipped green there, absolutely showing beautiful support. And guys, I just want to show how often this happens is, like I said, just using signals to help you spot a trend can be so useful, and it doesn't really matter what it is. That's why I said, like, the buy signals, the sell signals, the W's. Even look at this, the core trend, just noticing that you know, when it flips bullish, hey, it flipped bullish a little higher up. We have that uptrend of green forming ribbon like that, and look at that, just blasted to the upside like that. I kind of, that's the main way that I look at most indicators, to be honest, is just noticing which way they're trending. I think that's such a powerful thing, and I don't think many people actually do that, to be honest. And I don't know, that's pretty much my favorite part of using indicators. But yeah, as far as lever right now, on a 4 hour, I'd be looking at something like that. Let's just see if I can spot anything else. Yeah, basically the indicators think anywhere kind of in this zone would be a nice buy. It looks like so far the trend is showing that we have support there. Another thing you could watch out for would be some sort of a Fibonacci pullback. But yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. Let's zoom out a little bit. Hop over to the daily. Oh yeah, if this thing can send it above these all-time highs, or I guess I don't know if this is all-time highs. This is the BitGet chart, so maybe there's older ones. But you can just see that it does look like we're starting an uptrend. You know, if I can just look at random resistance lines here, you know, just seeing that downtrend there. Again, getting more than 3 touch points, right? We have 1, 2, we have that third perfect touch point, and then flipping that resistance into support. That's just where I always talk about those looking for pennants and looking to play breakouts and that sort of thing, and how I always say I love to see those 3 touch points followed by a retest, and this is just one of those perfect examples. Let's just, what kind of a move was that since we got this retest here? It ended up pumping almost 73%, absolutely huge. So you can see how important those retests are. So to see resistance flipping into support like that, absolutely beautiful. Looking at a more, I guess, a broader support line, looking at a diagonal support would be more something like that. Not everybody likes diagonal trend lines. I personally do, but like I said, I need those 3 exact touch points. There's specific rules that I have when I'm actually trading those patterns, because patterns on their own can be a little bit dicey. I always want to make sure I have proper invalidations and that sort of thing. What else can we go over here? I do want to look at some random meme coins, the old low market cap trash. As always, I like to get my degen on a little bit. 1 minute, or the 5 minute long that I took earlier that I was telling you guys about, still running for now. Still haven't quite hit my second take profit. We'll see if that happens in the next little bit. Actually, I'll mark that. I will mark both of them. First one was 933. Oops. First TP was there, and second TP is 68,777, just a little bit shy of the 786. So that's my plans for now on that position. Now that we got that degenerate out of the way, here I'm actually sorry to be flippy floppy here. Let's just look at this now. From now on, we all know why I took that position at this point. Let's just watch it from here. Stop loss is at break even now, by the way. All right, hopping over some real trash here. Oh, have a good night, Simon. Thanks for tuning in. Ronald, I do use Bird Eye a little bit. When I'm looking at charts here, I'm usually looking at DEX tools. DEX tools is the decentralized charts that I've been watching. But I've been trading on, I find Jupiter is nice and easy and fast to use. Bird Eye has also been quite good, but sometimes when you're getting really into the real trash that's only been around for an hour or not even, sometimes you got to use Radium. I hate Radium with a passion. It's so slow. It fails transactions all the time. It is just, I can't stand using it, but sometimes it's the only one that has the good trash on it. So, but speaking of meme coins, this one I'm going to say is more reasonable because there's actually a high market cap. There's actually a lot of liquidity. There's obviously a lot of money behind this project. I know a lot of us in the group actually got into it early last night. I wanted to get in on it right at launch, but I was actually just eating, and then Radium was taking so long and I failed so many transactions. This is where I ended up getting in at. Still sitting in a nice profit. I ended up just about an hour ago, or hour and a half ago, I ended up closing a third of it just to secure some profits as I do. Just because the market cap's quite high too. I'm not really expecting 100x out of this or anything like that, but I know a lot of us have been in this one early, so I just wanted to touch on it. Can't really say much about the price action. There's really not much to it. It's only been up for a day and basically up for a day. So That's where that's standing. Cheddar, I know I was talking about this one a few days ago in the group. It looks like it actually just found support nicely on this old resistance back here. This thing's only a $5.5 million market cap so far. I mean, holding support nicely, it looks like. I want to be very clear about this, you guys. All the coins I'm looking at moving forward here are total meme coins. I know nothing of the projects other than their low market caps, high risk, high reward kind of thing. I am not necessarily holding on to these expecting 100x. I want to be clear about that. So yeah, this is one that I was looking at and have a little bit of chonk. There's been a few of us in the group talking about this one a little bit. Basically, it's right at support. Who knows if this thing survives or if it's just a slow bleed out here, but it's basically trading at its low, basically support, the lowest support that it's ever made, but it is technically holding that support level. So not even a $1 million market cap. So, oh yeah, the good trash here. Bonk with hat. I've been talking about this on most of my streams here. Basically, it's still just holding out at its support level. Horizontal support, basically. Could even bump this up a little bit, I suppose. Yeah, just basically hovering here. I do have some of this as well, just because, you know, if it does hold that support level, it's not even a $1 million market cap again. So, yeah, see what happens. Total gamble. This one is the biggest gamble that I'm in because the market cap is only 20,000, but I know some of us in the group are in this one. Another memer, but yeah, whatever. Just looking at a very high risk, low position size. See, you know, even if this ended up hitting a $2 million market cap, I mean, that's a huge gain. So yeah, definitely not expecting that. Again, don't look for home runs all the time or anything like that because usually you get burned. But yeah, that's basically the list of shitties that I'm watching right now. DFTU, don't fuck this up. Let's hope they stand by that. But yeah, I know they actually have like a social media presence, and they, well, I think, what's his name? I can't remember the guy's name. You all know who I'm talking about, but whatever. I know there's some people talking about this one. Like I said, there's actual money behind it and stuff like that. So it's not going to be one of those ones that, you know, has those ridiculous percentage gains, but it seems like it's in a healthy place more so than a lot of the meme coins. Yeah, other than that, guys, I don't know if there's any... Actually, I do want to bring up Obima. Obima! I know it was mentioned in the group earlier. Holy, up over 500% today. This thing is just mooning. I don't think this is actually the pattern I had mapped out last time. I think I had a bigger... Oh no, I remember what I had. Someone in the group pointed it out that I had mapped this out in a previous post. I think it was this one. Yeah, it was something like that. But yeah, basically I was looking at one of those pennant breakouts on Obima, and I mean, again, guys, just look at how powerful that was. We break out of that pattern, and what did that end up pumping? It ended up pumping 800% in the last day or so. Yeah, that's a good one. That one blew up pretty good. But that just goes to show what can happen with these, right? I mean, the market cap, is that all-time highs? No, it's not all-time highs yet, but it basically went from up here. I can't remember what the market cap was. I think it was around 5 million, and would have been basically down to, I think it might have even been under 1 million at one point, and now, well, yeah, it totally was under 1 million, and now just blown up again. So just goes to show what can happen with these shitties. It takes so little money to move them that anything can happen. Basically, they can go to zero, they can 10x very quickly, either of those scenarios. So something to be aware of if you are trading the shitties. Just be cautious. Yeah, that's about all I wanted to go over, you guys. Basically, I was just gonna babysit this trade a little bit. Watch this for a few minutes, see if I end up hitting my second take profit. Other than that, I don't know if any of you guys have any additional questions or requests, anything like that. I do have to get going in about 5 minutes or so here, but any last minute requests, absolutely shoot a message. Other than that, what do you guys think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to blast right through this? Do you think I'm correct with my Stuber fib here? Do you think that's going to be a nice short? Because I am planning to take that hedge short if we hit those levels. Yeah, you're talking the that bullish one I mapped out here? Pinpoint accurate on that 786 if that's the one you're talking about. This is on Bing. Oh, you must have been looking at a different one. I was looking at this little guy. I have breakdowns of I think like the trending W system sort of on the Academy. Same with YouTube, but I haven't like made an in-depth Stuber fib video or anything like that. I teach it a lot more in-depth in my mentorship. Like the few people that I have in there right now, I'm giving them plenty of examples and kind of explaining why and that sort of thing. But I am booked up right now. I gotta have a life as well. But yeah, I was thinking about making some other videos, even if I keep them private and have a link or whatever or in the Academy or whatever. Definitely considering it. Yeah, I want to pull these fibs back up. I'll leave them both up for now, just so we can see why I'm taking profits up here, why I entered down here, why I took a little bit of profits here. Right on. Well, I think I'm going to wrap things up there. It doesn't really look like I'll hit TP2 in the next couple minutes here. I'll hopefully keep you guys posted in the chat if it does happen. Hopefully it does happen, period. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you guys are still getting value out of these streams. Hopefully you appreciate my insights and are kind of seeing how I'm looking at things and how I look at fibs and ranges and why I'm trading ranges or trends and that sort of thing. Yeah, with that, I guess if anybody watching this on my YouTube a little bit later finds, wants to try out some of my favorite indicators, as well as being part of these sessions, these live streams put on by not only myself, but a handful of other very talented traders as well. I do have a discount link in the description down below. With that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.